Welcome to the Know, I'm Mica, and we're starting off with something a little bit sad today. We've got another significant departure from Bioware, and this time it's not even someone from the Mass Effect franchise. Dragon Age creative director and fan favorite Mike Laidlaw has announced that after 14 years with the company, it's time to move on from Bioware. Laidlaw announced his departure on Twitter, writing, "It's been an honor to be a part of the Dragon Age team, and I have every confidence that the world we've created together is in good hands, and I'm excited for the road ahead." This marks yet another big loss in personnel for Bioware. Quite a few big names from the studio have pieced out in recent years, including Mass Effect Andromeda manager Aaron Flynn, although, to be fair, he was replaced by longtime studio vet Casey Hudson, who returned to pick up on Anthem. I mean, either way, it's a big loss for Bioware, and we wish Laidlaw all the best. Spend some time in Thedas today in his honor. Gamers always want to compare console sales to see which of their favorites is currently at the top of the heap, but one company says that they're not really focused on hardware sales. And guess what? It's the guys in second place. Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in an interview with GameSpot that hardware numbers just don't tell the full picture. I think if you get so focused on hardware sales at this point as gamers, we lose sight of what's going on around the console business. Console's important. I love the console space, but it's part of the gaming business. It's not total. So I just don't define success by any one individual version of our console and how many we sell. Are we growing the business? Are we growing the number of customers? So ultimately, it seems Xbox feels the combined platform of Xbox Live is way more important than how many actual Xboxes they're moving. But seriously, if the Xbox One X breaks a ton of records, they'll probably be the first to let us know. Racing enthusiasts got a chance to try out the demo for Gran Turismo Sport ahead of the game's launch next week, and judging by the numbers, the demo fared pretty well. Series creator Kazunori Yamauchi revealed on Twitter yesterday that more than 1 million drivers jumped into the game's demo, which could be a good indication of how many plan on picking the game up at launch. Historically, the Gran Turismo series has moved nearly 80 million units in total, with Gran Turismo 6 moving more than 5 million of those, so it'll be interesting to watch how Gran Turismo Sport does this fall. GT Sport launches for the PlayStation 4 on October 17th. If you're one of the Guardians out there hoping for some endgame changes to come to Destiny 2, well, it looks like Bungie has heard all those subreddit complaints and might be doing something about it. In this week's What's Up at Bungie update, the company responded to recent criticisms about the endgame, saying that internal talks are happening about them. They wrote, "Right now, these discussions are also happening in our studio. We are listening, but need time to digest everything and draw up the best plans for the future. We will soon have more to say on this soon. Please stay tuned and keep the conversation rolling." Bungie also revealed the final PC specs and launch times for the PC release on October 24th, which is soon, so check that out in the link dump if you want to know the exact moment you can boot up the game. The super spoopy Evil Within 2 is now out for PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and so far, the reviews are looking pretty decent. There aren't a huge amount of reviews to speak of just yet, thanks for that, Bethesda, but the game is sitting at an 80 on Metacritic and an 81 on OpenCritic at the time of writing. The general consensus among critics seems to be that Evil Within 2 improves on many gameplay aspects from the first game, the stealth and gunplay for instance, and manages to be a really fun ride, although it doesn't quite get out of the first game's shadow. Twinfinite writes in its 4 out of 5 review, "Despite its flaws, The Evil Within 2 is a thoughtfully constructed horror rollercoaster ride that strikes a delicate balance between giving the player the power to fight back and also making them realize that sometimes all those guns and gear won't save you from the terrors you can't understand." You probably know Riot Games for one reason, League of Legends. The game has become widely popular and has helped make the MOBA genre really famous. But Riot's 2 co-founders say that they're stepping down from their management roles because they want to make new games. In an announcement post, Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill talked about the huge growth of League, but they added that it also means the majority of our time is allocated to managing the company rather than focusing on creating incredible experiences for players, which is what we really love to do. So they're going to get back to making stuff, and as they put it, put the S in Riot Games. Good for them. It'll be cool to see what they come up with. Chinese video game knockoffs are nothing new, but an Overwatch clone called Heroes of Warfare is particularly bootleggy, and Blizzard apparently agreed because they're suing the game, which basically looks like a cut and paste version of Overwatch with just a few names changed. Take a look at these screenshots and judge for yourself. Anyway, PC Watch says that Blizzard China is suing the game's maker. It's demanding an apology and restitution. Blizzard is also asking that Apple take it down from the App Store. So wow, they even put it on the App Store. It's got some serious balls. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is headed for some big changes after the fourth Avengers movie. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige says that the untitled movie, which will be the follow-up to Infinity War, will wrap up a lot of the storylines that have been going since the first Iron Man movie in 2008. But what comes next? Well, Feige isn't saying. He told Uproxx, well, all I'll say is the films we are working on now, which take us through to the Avengers Untitled in May of 19, that's really all we're focusing on. If you're keeping count, by the time Marvel's Phase 3 wraps up, that will be a total of 22 movies over 11 years, which is pretty unprecedented. And while we don't know what's next for the MCU, recently Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie in the upcoming Thor Ragnarok, suggested an all-female team-up movie could be in the cards. So we'll have to see what happens, but for now, we can't wait for Infinity War. A guy in a Cleveland suburb is suing his local police department, saying they need to give him his consoles back. Anthony Novak, 28, was arrested last year for creating a parody Facebook account called the City of Parma Police Department. The cops were not at all amused and charged him with a 4th-degree felony. They also raided his apartment, took his hard drives, a laptop, and his Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4. Anyway, a jury found him not guilty after his attorney argued that the fake site was protected under the First Amendment. Now Novak is suing the department, saying they violated his civil rights, and most importantly, he wants his Xbox 360 and PlayStation 4 back. I mean, we don't blame you, dude. There's a lot of good stuff coming out soon. Lots of people don't like Middle-earth Shadow of War's loot boxes, but some PC gamers have found a way to get an unlimited amount of them, and all thanks to, you guessed it, cheats. One NeoGAF user showed off all his sweet gear thanks to a cheat that lets you get unlimited silver coins, which means players can get all the loot boxes they want. And the NeoGAF poster brought up an interesting point, writing, "Does this mean that loot boxes on single-player games are basically useless on PC? Obviously, cheats are frowned upon by developers, but with all the controversy around loot boxes lately, and considering that it's a single-player game, most people on NeoGAF just cheered the gamer on. We're sure this will get patched out soon, though, considering how much developers love loot boxes these days, so grab all the silver you can, I guess? I don't know. Well, that's all the news we have for you today, and be sure to comment on your favorite news story in the comments below, and remember, for more news from all the lovely corners of the internet, like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the know. So, ultimately, it seems Xbox feels that the combined platform of Xbox Live is a way more important than series creator Kazunori Yamauchi. Chinese video game knockoffs are nothing new, but an Overwatch clone called Heroes of Warfare and its